Hey everyone, welcome to CHATS. I am your host, Samantha Tiara, and we have another very special episode. So listen here, our guest today, she literally is a Jill of all trades. There's not a great way to introduce her. What I will say is we've been in the same circle probably for maybe the last 5 to 7 years, if that. But it is a pleasure to finally have the opportunity to interview her. So welcome, Miss Banza Townsend Tracey.
Hey,
Welcome to the show. How are you?
pretty good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm well. I'm highly favored and blessed. I'm
Yes, you
well.
are. I thought you interviewed me before. I think I'm always watching you, so I think I'd be there. No, we have done one with Nicole.
Okay, probably. Yeah, we probably did. Wow, that's been a while
I've
back
got
ago. So we were due
pictures.
for up to date interview anyway.
Yes.
So we were due. All right, so let's just go right ahead and get this thing kicked off. So really, my first question for you is Pandora J. Let's talk a little bit about Pandora J. Is that an alter ego? Is that is that your inner Beyonce? Like, tell us a little bit about Pandora J.
That is my real legal name, Banza Pandora J. Townsend Tracey. They made me put the whole thing on my license. My alter ego would be Red. We're not going to talk about her because then she'll pop up. We're just going to leave Banza here. It's my day. But yeah, they're all just me.
I'll just do.
They're all just me.
All you.
All a mixture of me.
Got it. Okay. All right. So Banza or Pandora, whichever you want to,
Yes.
us to refer to you today. You are literally all over the place.
Yes.
From YouTube, Instagram, commercials, films, theater, television, and you are an entrepreneur, which I think is so amazing. You are very versatile. Let's just first and foremost so that. So let's get a little bit into the acting. So with all of the talents, I said at the beginning that you were a Jill of all trades, but with all of the gifts, all of the talents you have, let's talk a little bit more about acting. And when did you first get into acting, and how did you know that that was something that you wanted to do?
I've always liked anything art anyway. I was writing songs when I was 9. I still have them because I keep journals. I've always journaled. So I was writing songs. I always wanted to be a singer. Janet Jackson was my idol since I was a very little girl.
Control.
Yes.
Got it.
All my cousins were the Jacksons. So it's anything art, it's always been. So I think I was always acting. So because I couldn't sing, I just wanted to. So then I was always lip syncing. So when you lip sync, you're acting things out. So I just have a very artsy family. So anything pertaining to art except for freehand, I just wanted to be a part of it. And it wasn't until, I did do a lot of theater like in elementary, middle school, but I still always wanted to sing. I was chasing the dream I couldn't actually do. Why would you do that? Give me a passion for something I cannot do. But it wasn't until I got to Indianapolis that I actually started acting.
Nice. So what do you like most about acting?
It's getting to live so many different people's lives, learning different perspectives, and actually just living in that character and in their lives and seeing things from a different point of view. You learn something from every character that you pick up. So it's getting to learn more living through other people, and you see the world in different ways. I think it makes you more compassionate.
That's a very good point. It makes you more compassionate. So let's dig a little bit more into acting a little bit more. So because my background is in theater, a lot of people may or may not know that, but I'm a Broad Ripple alumni. I studied theater, and so I love the craft. I love everything, the passion behind it. And you said something that really stuck out, that you learned to be compassionate. But when it comes to theater and even film, and we'll talk a little bit more about film here in a minute. But how do you prepare for a role? Like, what does Banza do to prepare for a role?
Depending on what the role is, like I just sit in and go through the lines and I try to put myself in their position. Even if I've been in characters where I don't agree with anything about them, but I have to let a lot of Banza go and see if I were in this predicament, in this life, how would I feel about it? And then I make myself like when you're on a debate team, like you can't just pick, like your teacher picks a side and you dig into that and you defend it. So I defend my character's position and until I become them, until I empathize and feel how they feel, and I can actually go hard for their position, even if it were against me. And we were debating about it. So it's just it's emptying as much of you out to fill that character up as you can.
Nice. So emptying out as much as you as possible and having that character literally become something that you live, eat, and breathe throughout the duration of the project. So you've starred in a lot of films based here in Indy and all over. What is it like to see your films on Redbox and just streaming? Like how does that make Banza feel when you see that happen?
It always makes me look at it like, oh, what can we do next? It's always like the next thing, or Or, oh my goodness, I wish I could do that, and I wonder how such and such would do. I always think of other people and how I could pull them in and we could do this, or it always just makes you think of broader things. It's like, if you can do this, and what else can you do? It's like, it just kind of just fills you up with hope that you can do more things. Because when when you're doing things younger, this thing looks like it's just a dream world. Because you're kind of taught that when you're younger to do things that make sense. And that's what I did most of my life, was like, go to school, get your associates, get your bachelor's. Like, it was all school and business, because you were taught, not because they were trying to distract you from your dream, but your parents try to protect you and make sure you're okay.
Right.
So this wasn't something that was encouraged. And it was just something to look at. It was a fantasy, but when you actually see yourself do it and it's manifesting, you want to keep doing that and broadening that, and then make that real for other people. Like, this is a viable career. You can actually do things that make you happy and still be okay and stable and successful.
Right, right. And I'm sure your family is just as proud as you at this point in your life, had you, gone a different career path. So that's awesome. So talking a little bit more about acting, you've done a lot of film roles as far as like comedic, romantic, dramatic. Is there a particular kind of genre that you like to stay in, or that you enjoy more of doing?
Yeah, I want to do them all, because I would like to have that Johnny Depp kind of range, but I prefer comedy, because I just like being happy. I like staying in that state. I like seeing other people happy, people laughing. It actually releases endorphins, and we need that.
Absolutely.
So I love seeing people happy. So I would love to do a lot more comedy.
So speaking of comedy, I'm going to go off script here really quickly. But there was a particular role that you did, and you had this accent that just cracks me up every time.
With total value due of $25 million, I will add an additional $1 million in aggravation fees. You have until midnight Friday to have me my money in hand, Jack, or this little meeting will feel like a back massage. See you Friday, Jack.
Can you just go a little into that? Like, how did you prepare for the accent? I mean, do you do dialect study? Like, how did you do that?
This is the bad part. When you are doing this role that serious, and they're like, speaking of comedy, that means you are not doing your accent well. But I haven't taken dialect training, but I want to. But I did end up downloading an app where you would repeat phrases back. So I wanted to learn more. It's supposed to be a Nigerian accent. So I was trying to learn that dialect a little better. So some of the parts that were in the script, I try to add some of the nuances they say in the language when they're speaking to people. So I try to make it as real as possible, but it's still coming off as a comedy. So I don't think I nailed it, but it was fun to do. It was definitely fun to do.
It absolutely, and it had me dying for some time. So I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
I think you nailed it. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the process. So when you book a film, commercial, theater, etc., what is Banza's process? Like, what does that process look like for you as far as booking is concerned?
Usually through, I'm not going to say usually, probably 50-50, like through the agency, which is always a great route to go. Like, you can book a lot on your own. Actors Access, I think, is the best place to get bookings. You find a lot of things out there. A lot of people still go, even if they have an agent, they may go out there and book things for themselves. And I still wouldn't recommend it, because your agents have a lot of negotiating power that you don't. So some people are like, well, I don't want to split this with an agent, and they think they're doing good business when they're not. So instead of you splitting 20% of a $200 a day job, where your agent could negotiate you $2,000 and you're just giving them $200,
Right.
like you're undercutting yourself, especially if you have an agent working for you. If you don't, still go out there and make it happen for yourself. But if you do, agents have a little more doors to go through to get better things for you.
Nice. So that actually brings me to another question, agent. So do you have an agent? And if so, what was that process like for you to get an agent, for those that may be interested in going that route?
My agents I have Talent Fusion, that's here in Indianapolis, and Heyman Talent, and they are in Columbus, Cincinnati, and in Kentucky, because they represent the Southeast region. And both of them were pretty much the same. You send your headshot resume in, then they decide from there if they want you to come in for the in-person interviews, and then you go through, they may have you cold read a script or do a monologue, and then call you back if they think you're marketable.
Nice.
So they're both really, really great companies. And if they may get called in for the same audition for both, if it's an Indianapolis job, that would go with Talent Fusion. If it's something in the Southeast, then that would go to your Heyman reps. So.
Got it. Thanks for explaining that process. I've always wondered how that worked. Who knows? I may try to, get an agent myself. No, I'm just, I'm just
Why
kidding.
not? There's agents for all kinds of stuff. Writing, acting.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll leave it to the pros like you, the acting pros like you. So I want to talk a little bit more about your TV career. So when you first, booked your first co-starring role for a television show, how did that make you feel to get that role? Talk a little bit about that and what was, kind of going through your mind when that was happening.
Which one, like Atlanta PD? I mean,
Yes.
Atlanta Homicide? That was fun. That was actually super fun. So they actually film it in Tennessee,
Okay.
even though it's Atlanta Homicide. We were there for 2 days, and the actors on set, even though that's their series regulars, so you would think they'd be like, just come in when you're supposed to. No, they actually helped a lot. Like they actually the training on set, like they're not gonna train you. They please come in, know what you're doing. But little stuff like make sure we know if the camera can see you, you can see the camera.
Yeah.
But little stuff like if you're not lit well, because you should know where your lights are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always recommend taking acting classes, because you're supposed to know more than just acting. If you know behind the scenes, you're going to look better. You won't get cut out of scenes as quickly, because no one's going to tell you to get in the right spot. But if you're in the right spot, you're less likely to get cut in editing. So if you know about editing too,
Yep.
then you'd be in a lot more scenes. So they helped a lot with that. They're like, if the light can't see you, if you don't see the light can't see you either. And I'm like, so I learned where to stand, and so that was a great experience, other than getting to see it later.
Nice. Those are some really, good takeaways. So, Banza, what are your career goals? What's next for you as far as career?
Well, first, acting is one of my first loves, since I can't sing yet. We're going to still pray on that. But casting, I love casting. I love spotting talent and seeing that, and I can see them in other things. I love casting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I fell in love with, just happened to fall in love with along the way. So that's one of the things I really want to get into.
So casting, what exactly are you looking for when it comes to casting? I know, not just randomly walking down the street, maybe and seeing someone and say, hey, I think you would be good. What exactly are you looking for? From your perspective, your professional opinion, what makes someone a good, cast member for a show or a production?
A good cast member?
Mm-hmm. Or not a cast member, but maybe a good candidate to be in, I don't know, a production or a film or something to that extent.
Just range, one, but I won't even say that, because some people, you have your niche. Like some people say, I don't like to get typecast. If you're getting typecast, it means you're getting cast. That means there's something, somebody sees in you in that role. That means you're going to continue to get work. Mm-hmm. So that's still a good thing. So it's not one particular thing you look for. It's like when somebody auditions, you just see something.
Yeah.
And I just see so many talented people here. I would just love to just be like, I know people. People call me all the time now, and I'm like, it's kind of your job now that you're not paid for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know exactly who would work here, because I see so much talent all the time, and I'm like, and it makes me crazy. I'm like, I need a release for that somewhere, so I think that needs to be just my job.
Nice. There you go. If you could get paid to do that,
Exactly.
I think you're onto something.
Get paid to do what you love.
Absolutely.
Want to be the next Raven drummer?
Yes, and we love Raven. Yes, absolutely. So speaking of Hollywood, if you could star alongside anyone in Hollywood, any actor or actress, who would it be and why?
I'm going to get in trouble because there's too many and I got to pick one. This one, you have all these different personalities with different favorites, but my favorite is Johnny Depp, just because of the range. And because I haven't met him, but you have to just go by what you hear. He's not difficult to work with. I like people that are talented and nice. Mm-hmm. So in his range, I didn't know if that was him in Blow. That's what I mean when you can empty out the whole person and play another character. You're not always trying to be pretty. You're not always trying to be, you're just trying to be the character. It's not about how great you look or you don't see I love Kevin Hart. I think he's actually a really good actor, seeing him in another thing, but you still always see Kevin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know Johnny Depp in some of the movies he played. I think it was years after Edward Scissorhands that I found that was him.
Yeah.
So it's his range just blows my mind. I would love to work with somebody like that.
Absolutely. So let's kind of take a step back really quickly and go back to the casting thing that we were talking about. So what do you think is more important, talent or training?
Oh, both. Because you can be ridiculously talented. There's God-given talents, but somebody cannot work you in a heartbeat. If you're talented, you're born being able to dribble a ball really well, but you're not in there training and developing that talent, somebody runs circles around you.
Yeah.
And training adds to your talent, because you can act well, but if you don't know where to stand, where you're supposed to be on camera, nobody saw what you're supposed to do. Like you have to have training. So training is definitely important because that can be developed. Talent can fade if you don't train it. So I think training.
It's a really good point. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about your entrepreneurship, your business. So Pandora J Gifts, let's talk a little bit about your business. How did that come about? And, just tell us a little bit more about that. And, of course, where people can purchase some gifts.
Okay, so I was in 2019, I was still working a full-time job, project coordinator for that company. And I got laid off like November 2019. And I was like, that actually works for me because the Capricorn in me won't let me quit a job.
Yeah.
Because, that natural thing is to have stability. But I was like, I've always wanted to figure out a way to act more and, be able to train. So I was like, I've saved up. I just got laid off. So let's sign up for Second City and go get some real training. Fly out to LA. Me and Jamila had got our stuff together. And then here comes Corona. I was like, really? I was like, okay, Lord, so you fulfilled one promise and then we're stuck here. We had to get our little refunds. We couldn't do the training. Yep. Yes. It's like, so now what do? You can't just sit stagnant. So, of course, you did some content at home, but I was like, yeah, but I can't just sit idle. So if I want to continue to be able to act, I still have to do income that doesn't require me to work on somebody else's schedule. Mm-hmm. So my husband was just making, because he owns a business in Jamaica anyway, and he was making shirts for his staff or whatever. Nice. And I was like, I can make shirts. So I just started playing around with making shirts and then looking on YouTube. I'm always trying to, anything I do, I'm looking on YouTube to find ways to do it better and more efficiently. So I started learning about vinyl. So I was like, I bought a Cameo. Then I saw something about sublimation, which is so much easier. And I was like, okay, so I got a smaller sublimation machine. And then I was like, well, that's not just t-shirts. Look at all the stuff I can make. I'm over here making coasters, making tumblers. Nice. And then one room that was like an office, and then like I had some stuff in it, just turned into like 1,000 things.
Wow.
And then it took up a second bedroom.
Wow. It's like you had an in-house warehouse almost.
Exactly. Then we're like, okay, so then people want bigger shirts, and I'm like, I'm tired of piecing things together, so I got a bigger sublimation machine, like the print, and it just kept going from there. They got a bigger press, so yeah. So that mixed with the drop shipping, it was like, there it is. This is working pretty well. But then you realize you did this to make more time to act, and then when you're an entrepreneur, you work actually way more hours.
Yeah. Yeah, you're putting in even more work. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, but I will say that I've seen a lot of your creations, beautiful things. I'm saying this on camera to keep myself accountable as well. But I'm looking forward to purchasing. I know you had mentioned off camera. You had mentioned something about like a Bluetooth speaker.
Yes,
slash
a tumbler with a Bluetooth speaker.
Can we talk a little bit about that for a quick second?
Yeah.
Like tell me a little bit more about that, because that seems very intriguing, especially, it's about to be summer, pool season,
Exactly that. When you're on the beach, like the tumblers, they're 20-ounce tumblers, they're insulated.
Okay.
So of course, you probably won't have nothing hot right now, but if it's hot, it's going to stay hot for about 12 hours. If it's cold, it'll be cold for 12 hours.
Nice.
Then it has the speaker, you Bluetooth it to your phone, and it gets pretty loud too. So I love my Bluetooth speaker. And then you customize it however you want it to look, what pictures you want on it. I have my family around mine. Some people like whatever, like their city they're representing or their business on their Tumblr. So you can get whatever you want on it.
Nice. That is so cool. Very, very talented. Very, very unique. So,
and it's customized. Whatever you want your Tumblr to look like, it'll reflect you.
Nice. So I can put anything on there that I want.
Anything on there. Then nobody's taking your Tumblr.
Okay.
Like, this is not yours. You see this design? This has Samantha Pounds on here.
Yes. Like they know it's me.
Yes.
So again, at the beginning of this interview, I said that you were a Jill of all trades. I have to talk a little bit about this because I did not know this until recently.
Oh, I'm scared. Just kidding.
And maybe not a lot of people may know this as well, but you can rap.
Who told you this?
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rap. So because I know earlier you said, you briefly talked about singing and all of that. So let's talk about rapping. And I mean, can you spit something? No, I'm not gonna make you spit anything. But let's talk about the rapping.
It's all these outlets I've had to transfer to since the Lords won't give me my voice I asked for. So I keep trying every other thing. So yeah, I made a whole rap album. So my mom used to think it was so funny to hear the stuff on the radio. Yeah, like DJ Rick was the producer, who was amazing. He's also an amazing photographer. And yeah, we made just a whole album. And I like to battle rap because I have a smart mouth and I'm funny. So it was like, And everyone thought it was like, oh, you would walk in the studio, they'd be like, oh, so you must sing or something. I'm like, okay. So.
Battle rap.
Oh,
So,
God, yes.
okay, so let's talk about battle rapping for a quick second, because I know with battle rapping, and I feel like you have to be quick witted with
Yeah.
it, and the comebacks have to be, like you gotta go hard.
Oh, yeah. Especially when it's mostly guys.
Yes, that was exactly what I was getting at. Like, how do you, I guess, maintain the femininity of it, of being a female rapper against all of these rapper guys? Like, how does that work for you?
I just never thought about it. It's just, to me, it's just like a room full of jokes being tossed back and forth. I mean, we grew up in that stage where everybody wasn't as sensitive.
Yeah.
So it was always jonesing and getting on each other. So it could just be a whole fest the whole time. It's just to music now.
Nice. Man, I'm intrigued. So we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about the rap thing.
I put one of the songs on YouTube, but the rest, because it was there older, it's like 2003, but I finally put one on there just to see. But yeah.
I mean, so can we expect maybe another rap album, like maybe
I don't see
in the
it.
future, or?
I would love to ghostwrite for people though,
Okay.
because I don't even have that same voice. It was just, it's one of those provoking things. Someone say something like, oh, you want to go right. So now everything is kind of so fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would even hit the same. I'm like super fluffy now.
I think you can.
I would be more like the sarcastic, funny Eminem from the past
Yeah.
versus like the harder one out, like the really funny Eminem. That would have been me.
Nice. I love it. Again, the Jill of all trades. I love it. All right, Banza. So my last question for you is, what advice do you have for any up-and-coming actors or anyone that's really just kind of looking to step into the industry? What advice would you give them?
Mine is just to get out of your head about it. If that's something that you love, do it. Block out the white noise, because there's a lot of it. Make sure you just get, like a lot of... Get a lot of positive people around you. Have a good village around you, because you need to have a lot of positive energy flowing in a place where people tell artists to get real jobs. Or, I mean, but most artists are super sensitive, even if they don't show it. So you need really good positive energy around you.
Yeah.
And get training, no matter what people tell you. Get training that is current. It's not about loyalty. It's about you and your craft. Get training that is current, because it changes. It's like you wouldn't go to a doctor that's not getting continuing education.
Right.
Like, that would make sense. So make sure your coach is constantly getting trained, so that they're giving you updated information, so that you don't look crazy when you go into this field that is already brutal.
Yeah.
So that would be my best advice.
I love it. And you said something that really just, made me think about a song by Erykah Badu, when you said that most artists are sensitive, and Erykah Badu said it best, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about, so that's really good sound advice. And to your point, blacking out the white noise, I think is really important. Banza, it has been a pleasure talking with you. I've enjoyed this conversation. I guess for me, one last thing, how can people follow you on social media? How can they follow your business if they want to order something? Because I said on camera that I'm ordering something. So what website do I need to go on as well? How can we follow you?
The website to get personalized gifts would be pandorajgifts.com. Social media, the TikTok is Banza Townsend Tracey. Well, just a TRAC at the end, because they cut it off. Especially YouTube. I'm trying this YouTube thing out. So it's just Banza Pandora J on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get more into that. That would be really fun to get that a little more interactive. And then everything else is just my name. There's not going to be too many Banzas out there. If you see the pasta, that's not me. The other one would probably be me. Banza Pandora.
Love it. And again, make sure you check out that YouTube, because she might upload some raps. So I
upload all kind of foolishness. I think I uploaded a time where I just got tired after being at a club. Like, I'm tired of this wig. I have alopecia, but who cares? And my husband's just going to see it raw when I get home. And I just took the wig off in the car, and I was like, people go through stuff. Upload it to YouTube. Who cares? It's a rant that you forgot you did. So yeah, you see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like that feel good stuff too.
Yeah.
So I love it. Again, a very, very big special thank you to our guest, Banza. It was a pleasure interviewing you and talking with you. It's been since forever, but I'm glad we had the opportunity to do this. And to our viewers out there, yes, you that I'm pointing out right now, make sure you like and make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you can stay up to date. Until next time, it's Samantha Tiara signing out.